Hey everybody, what's going on? Good to see everybody. Let me get rid of our music here. Hope you're all doing well. Hopefully you guys can hear me okay. That would be cool. Let me know if you can hear the audio okay. Welcome to a impromptu live stream. I thought it might be fun. At least it'll be fun for me. May not be fun for all you. But tonight I'm going to work on, I'm starting to work with the new Universal Audio Luna. Well, actually I haven't started yet. I'm going to start tonight. And so I've wanted to spend some time with it and play around with it, because that's the only way I'm going to get to know it and to check out some of its new features with some of the new plugins and just check all that stuff out. And I thought, I was talking to my buddy David S.J., who's here in the chat. Hey, what's up, everybody? And I said, maybe I ought to just go on live and just play with it live. I don't know I don't know how it's going to react. I don't know if it's going to be stable. I don't know if it's going to crash. I don't really know much about it. I've done one mix in Luna when it first came out for mixingmadeeasy.net. And that was sometime last year. And I haven't played with it since. And I thought, well, maybe tonight's the night. I'll turn on the camera. We'll grab some files. We'll throw up a session. I'll fumble away through it. You guys can watch and ask questions. I'll try to figure things out. Again, I don't know how far we're going to get tonight. And then maybe what I'll do is every week I'll pick up on the song, and it'll be kind of like a little like the old live mixing series. But it's going to be really more or less for me to really kind of learn my way around Luna, and also for us to see how is it behave? Is it stable? I did a video when it first came out. You may remember on the YouTube channel, the video was 9 reasons not to switch to Luna, at least at that time. And I've gone through and talked about, at least at that time when it first came out, some of the things that I found early on that were kind of lacking. And since that time, apparently from what I've heard, again, I can't confirm this for sure, but people have said to me that since Universal Audio Luna has been out, they've done 19 different updates, if you could believe that. And it had a lot of features in that people were complaining about early on. One of the features that they haven't taken care of yet is it's not PC compatible yet. It's still only Mac, which really shocks me. I would have thought by now the Windows version would be out, because Windows 10 has been out a while now, and I'm really surprised about that. I have not heard any inside information about when that's coming, although I can tell you that I know it is coming from what I've told. It is coming. When is that? I don't know. I'm shocked it's not yet. But anyway, but eventually it will be. And if you have a Universal Audio Apollo interface, you'll be able to get Luna for free. It's a free DAW that comes with an Apollo. And when it's available for Windows, you'll have access to it as well. So if you're a PC user and you're like, oh, I would really love it, but I'm not on Mac, well, you might find this somewhat interesting over the next several weeks, just because when it comes out, at least you'll have a little bit of information. I don't know. So anyhow, that's what I'm going to do tonight. I got another set of multi-tracks that you guys haven't heard yet from Robert John and the Wreck, which I think you guys are going to like, and we'll probably get copyrighted and all of that nonsense, and I'll get demonetized, and that's okay. So before we get started, we have 21 people here. This is really cool. And then we'll answer questions along the way, and I'm just going to have some fun with this, right? Because I really want to take another look at Luna because of all the updates, and because I'm a Universal Audio supporter and user, and you guys know that. I'm not convinced that I'm going to switch from Studio One to Luna exclusively. I wouldn't go that far yet, but I'd like to play around with it and see. And just check out what I like about it and what we like about it together, and kind of compare it to the workflow of Studio One and some other DAWs, and just have fun with it, and just see what's what, and just, let it kind of happen in real time. This is not my first time ever in Luna. Obviously I did a mix with it last year, as I said, so I know a little bit, but I know you probably know as much as me by watching all the other YouTube videos that are out on YouTube about Luna. So anyway, that's what we're going to do. So I hope you find that cool. So We got 22 people. This is great. So if this is your first time here and you're just stumbling upon this, typically my live streams are more structured in that we have a very specific topic we're going to work on. And this one is kind of more of a free form thing. So, but if this is your first time here, welcome to the family. Make sure that you go out to homerecordingmadeeasy.com if you have not done so in the past and get the free mixing course that I have for you right on the homepage. It's a $50 mixing course. It's free. Go take advantage of that. If you have not been to Home Recording Made Easy yet, or if you're watching this in the future, I'll leave it up on YouTube, even though it's going to get demonetized as soon as we turn on any audio, which will happen sometime tonight, hopefully. But I'll leave it up on YouTube. So if you're watching this in the future, go out to Home Recording Made Easy, get yourself your free mixing course. Also, make sure you're following me on all the social media platforms, Facebook and Twitter and Instagram and all that other stuff, because I'm always posting stuff there as well multiple times a week. And some of that stuff is part of YouTube and some of it is not. And as you can see across the bottom of the screen, right underneath my video, tonight, for people that are on my email list, have getting this deal. But even if you're not on my email list, David's going to put it in the chat. I'm sure he already has. We have the course, The Power of Parallel Compression, on sale, 30% off. It's been 30% off all week for my VIP members, meaning that you're on my email list. But that ends tonight at midnight. So if you have not picked up The Power of Parallel Compression, you may want to check it out. Parallel compression will change your world in the way you mix and the way you think about compression. And I highly recommend it. So Dave will put the link in the chat. And what else? Oh, and if you find this live stream helpful to you in any way and you want to support the channel, feel free to use a super chat and buy Uncle Dave a cup of coffee, seeing as this video is not going to make any money, because as soon as I put up the song, it's going to get demonetized. But that's okay, because I think you guys will enjoy it, and we're going to do a different song than what I normally do on these live streams that don't get copyright problems. This one's going to get one for sure, but that's okay. We're going to have fun. We're going to have fun. Anyway, who cares, right? So anywho, let's go to the chat. Let me say hello to people. And then we're gonna open up Luna right from I haven't even opened it up. We're gonna open it up. We're gonna launch it. We're gonna walk through it. I'm gonna walk through what I know. It'll kind of be like a little bit of a show and tell. We'll have fun. So let's see who's in the chat. I got my iPad here tonight, so I'll scroll up here. David's here always. Hey David. Hey Jim's here, and Knight Rider is here. Hey, what's going on? And Juan is here. Hey Juan, how you doing, bud? Let's see. Dave says audio's good. Okay, great. Stacy Man 111, what is Luna? Is it Studio One compatible? No, Luna is its own DAW made by the company Universal Audio, which we'll talk more about that. So it's a brand new, it's the newest DAW on the market, I believe. It's one of, Universal Audio is famous for their plugins, for their interfaces. And then about a year ago, right when the pandemic hit, March 2020, they released their DAW, or as they call it, their recording system, which we'll talk more about that over the next several weeks. And so it's interesting. It's an interesting DAW. So it's got a lot of unique things in it that's different from all the other DAWs. And we'll talk a little bit about what that is and how it ties into the Universal Audio ecosystem. So it's just another DAW. Really, that's what it is. What's maybe some cool stuff. Let's see, who else is here? Tiny's here. Hey, Tiny, what's up? DJ VMP. Hey DJ, what's going on, man? Studio One is still the best DAW. Oh yeah, this is not a video to tell you what's the best, what's not the best. I've said it a billion times and I'll say it again for anyone before they start yelling and screaming about Luna versus another DAW. They're all great. They all do the same thing. It's all a matter of workflow and what you're used to and what you like. That's it. Now, some have some may have on different computer configurations, maybe some stability issues, like Pro Tools is highly unstable, or at least it used to be in the past, although the newest version of Pro Tools, what little testing I have done, it was very stable. I personally would never go back to Pro Tools, but Pro Tools is great too. So they're all good. So if you're a Studio One user, and I'm a Studio One user and love it, and have been using Studio One since version 2, so I've been around for a long time with Studio One. But it is nice every now and again when you do what I do for a living and you work in the same DAW every single day. It's nice to have a change, to check out new things. So Studio One is great, but they're all good. They're all good. And don't let anyone tell you that one is really better than another. It really isn't better. It's better maybe for your personal workflow, and some will have maybe a couple of different features, but basically they all do the same thing. So, and anyone that tells you anything different really isn't, Anyway, maybe a Luna Made Easy course. Well, honest, hey, Terrell, how are you, buddy? You know, me and Dave actually talked about that offline. Maybe I don't. Most of my audience is Studio One users. It's not to say that actually, although I was saying to Dave that I did a poll recently of my audience, and there were more Luna users than I thought there would be. But still overwhelmingly Studio One, and that's what I more focus on. But you know what? There might be a time where maybe a beginner's Luna course might come out if it helps people. I don't know. That's certainly a possibility. If there's enough of my audience that wants me to do that, I would certainly do it once I learn how to use the darn thing. Let's see. Who else is here? Anybody else I want to say hello to? How soon will you launch the DAW? Don't worry about it, man. If there's too much chatter for you, you can head on out. And I say that with all due respect. Don't worry about it. I'm here free-forming tonight, and I'll do what I'm going to do when I'm going to do it. You don't need to worry, bro. Great. How about yourself? Great, man. Okay, so we got 27 people. Maybe I'll launch Luna now so people don't get unsettled in the chat, because we don't want that. All right. Anyway, let me pull up my screen here so you guys can see it. And there's a little bit of a delay over YouTube. So I'm pulling up my desktop here. And let me just move that to the trash. And my desktop is actually Luna wallpaper. How about that? So let's launch Luna. Okay, so Luna's down here next to my Cubase icon, and let's go. Let's launch it. Let's see. So, again, you have to have a Universal Audio Apollo to use Luna. At least that's the way it is now. Will it be different in the future? I don't know. It may be. But right now you have to use it with them. The one thing I did notice a few times that I have launched it, like we're seeing right here, it does take a bit to launch. You know, I don't know. It's doing something obviously in the background, and hopefully we'll be able to get the audio to come over OBS. I haven't tested any of this stuff out. We're doing this all together for the first time. I got the wallpaper, I think on Universal Audio's website. I think it was there for free, and I just took it, and I like the way it looks. So I think that's where I got it from, to be honest. Okay, so let's see. I can see it's looking at the presets. It's scanning. Okay, here we go. So here's this. Oh, wow, that's bright. Here's the start screen. Okay, so here is their start screen here. You know, what would be considered the start screen like in Studio One. So they have a bunch of stuff, much like Studio One does. They have a bunch of, some videos here. Universal Audio's done a pretty good job with some videos through this whole time called the Luna Basic series, which is kind of cool. I've watched some of those myself. They also have a live stream that they do every Monday, I think it is, called Office Hours, where they feature another thing with Luna and they talk about things. And I've watched a few of those things where they have Ben here from Universal Audio, as well as some of the Luna developers. And that's kind of interesting if you want to learn about Luna. But, and they have also too, which I've downloaded but haven't used yet. If you have Luna, they've also given you some sessions of some multi-track stuff that they've done in some of their live streams, and they give you the sessions with all the multi-tracks so you can play around with Luna, which is kind of cool. They got a knowledge base here. They have a Read Luna's dock here as well, and this is where we set up our new session. On the left-hand side, we have the Create section, we have the Discover section. Oh my goodness, that's bright. Let me turn down some of that. And so what they have here in the Discover section, it looks like, here's where they have the sessions that you can download, where they've given you some sessions. So I've downloaded these sessions already. We're not going to use one of these tonight, but I've downloaded some of these. I'll have to download all of them. I didn't realize there was so many. But that's pretty cool that they give you some sessions with some multi-tracks so you can open up Luna and play around with the same session that they were working on. That's kind of cool. This is where they have all their special offers, their new releases. I guess you could pick up plugins. When you first launch Luna for the first time, which I've done before, so you didn't see me do it, they have you log into your Universal Audio account the first time, much like with Studio One and probably some other DAWs, so you can get to their cloud. So I could get to their website, I could buy plugins directly from here or whatever you want to do. So this is kind of a cool section. And then manage here, this section here is where you see your products, what any extensions that they offer that I own, or ones that you don't own. I happen to have all of these already, but if I didn't, it would, you can demo some of the extensions and those kinds of things. It shows you your installed. That's my installed products here. Okay, cool. My products and install products, I guess, are the same. And then they have the settings here, which kind of work along with the console app in the Apollo, which I don't think we really need to do anything at this point. So I'm going to go back to create, get some brightness happening here. Okay, so the song we're going to work on is a song called Good Lovin' by Robert John and the Wreck, which I haven't heard yet. I think I've heard 20 seconds of it. Robert John and the Wreck's a great band. So we're going to do that. So we're going to call this... I could spell it right. Robert John and the Wreck, and I think it's called Good Lovin'. Okay, so they have templates now. Now that's the one thing in my original video that I did where I said this is one of the reasons why I wouldn't switch, because they didn't have templates. They have templates now. I don't have anything set up because I haven't used it, but just a point of note. Where am I going to put this thing? Let's see. Okay, I'll put it right here. Is this where I want to put it? I think I set up a folder already. Yeah, Luna Sessions, I set up a folder. Okay, so that's where I'm going to put it. All right, and then we're going to hit create. Okay. The one thing that I will say about their support over here, and I'm only going to tell you this because this happened to me, and I thought it was a cool thing. When I was downloading one of their sessions, when I installed the new API plugins, which we'll talk about, I noticed that when I would launch the session, it would launch, but it would be blank, just like this. Even though it was a session that already had audio files, and it was a working session that I downloaded from them. I opened it up and it was blank, and I had to open it like 3 times to get everything to load. And I thought that was weird. So up in the top right-hand corner, I noticed they have this feedback button. And you can report what the problems are right here within the DAW. You know, I have my email and my name so they can know that it's me. I can attach screenshots, which I did, and I sent them a thing, which again, you could do that with any company. But one thing that surprised me is they responded to me in 12 hours, which I thought was kind of cool. I thought that this would go into the abyss and it would just be like a running log of problems that users or bugs that users find, and they may fix it with an update. But they actually got back to me, and they didn't have a fix. They didn't realize it was an issue, but I, thought that was kind of cool, because sometimes, well, a lot of times companies, you reach out to them, they don't ever get back to you. So anyway, so here's the screen here. So we have the edit screen here where all the audio files will be imported. And if I go to Control Equals, they have the mixer section, which obviously all that's right here is the main file, the main fader for now. What I did notice about Luna is 90% of their shortcuts are Pro Tools shortcuts. And the more I watch the office hours, the Luna live streams, although they won't say this, but I'm getting the impression by just the way this is laid out and the way the shortcuts work and the way the workflow works, is it seems to me like they're trying to really take the industry standard Pro Tools and they're really trying to take it into a more modernized direction. But they kept a lot of the look and the feel and the layout and the shortcuts and just the whole overall look of the thing very similar to Pro Tools. And I mean that in a good way, that the one thing that I like about Luna, which is one of the things I liked about Pro Tools, there's very few things I liked about Pro Tools, but one of the things I did like is that the interface is very clean, meaning that it's not garbled up with a bunch of nonsense and a bunch of little buttons and little icons and stuff that you don't always need, at least for someone like me who does mostly mixing. So I kind of like that. So anyway, so let's import some files. So I believe the shortcut is Command-I. Just like Pro Tools, and it is. And I think you can also get to that. And then we'll walk through this screen here as we kind of load things up. I think you can go File, yeah, Command-I. Again, that's a Pro Tools thing. And so here we go. So we have Robert John and the Wreck. I have no idea. We're just gonna open it. Nothing's organized, nothing's labeled. Let's see how long it takes to import. So it'll be fun. So I hope you guys will have fun tonight, at least watching this, and we'll see how much, we'll see if things crash. We'll see what happens. All right. All right, so that's it. Okay, there it goes. So that was interesting. What happened? Wow. Pretty blue. We're going to have to change the color of that, or am I going to look like a Smurf on the screen here? Okay, so here is our thing. And if we go to Command equals, I go back to my mixer. Here's our mixer. All right, cool. I don't know how many tracks we have here, but let's go back here. All right, so here's our track. So just like with Pro Tools, the zoom in and zoom out is the letter T and the letter R. Again, very Pro Tools-esque. The audio waveforms height, I believe, is Command Option. Yeah, I think it's Command Option in the brackets. Yeah, that'll kind of zoom in and out on the audio forms. Again, that's cool. And then here we got our tracks here. We can change our track heights. I think up here there's a little icon. You can go all the way down to micro, all the way up to extra large, and everything in between. How many tracks do we have here? Oh, we have quite a few. Oh, do we have a couple of referenced mixes here? I don't want that. I'm going to delete those. So highlighting and right clicking, that will, how do we delete? Delete selected tracks. Okay, that's pretty straightforward. Now, the thing about Luna 2, I notice is that it's always saving in the background. You don't have to do like command save, command save, command save. It's always saving. Let's just see what we have here. Let me put some cans on and let's listen. I don't know how hot this is going to come in. No clue. Don't know if the audio is going to work. We're going to see. Let's see. So let's go to the mixer. And let's turn all this nonsense down because it could get very loud and I don't want to blow my ears out or blow you guys out. So if I highlight the first track and hold shift and go all the way to the end, you can turn down all the faders. Let's do that. And let's go back here and let's just play. You let me know how the audio is once we start rolling. Cool track. Okay, that's what we're dealing with. Okay, so this is, I've turned these things down, what, 15 dB, and so we know this is way hot. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I got all these tracks highlighted still. If I can get all the faders back to 0, I think that would be, is it Command or Option on this? Okay, so Option, click when you select all the tracks will bring everything back to 0. I certainly don't want to hit play now. It's going to blow everybody out, but I already know. Let's take a look at some, let's first, probably do a little bit better labeling. So we got, okay, so if I double click, that brings up our box here. So the one thing I did notice, which in the track names, they have the tracks labeled with the numbers. I don't see the faders having a number like track 1, track 2, track 3, like in Studio One. Maybe there's a way to turn that on. I don't know. The other thing that I noticed about Luna 2, like, you know, in Studio One, like when you bring down Studio One preferences and you got just a mountain full of things that you can tweak and customize. I don't think you have that in here as much, which could be a good thing or a bad thing. So let's just do kick in. And then what do we have? Kick out. So we'll do O2. And so, yes, you're going to watch me set up a session. So if you've never set up a session or if you want to see my workflow, because you've never seen it before, a lot of the guys here that are here tonight have seen me do this a billion times. But anyway, I want to get my tracks and I want to get them labeled. I want to get them color coded. We're going to do all of that. And that'll give me an opportunity to kind of fumble around here. Snare bottom. What's this? Tom 1. Oh, interesting. Tom 2 bottom. Does that mean they have Bottom microphones? That's interesting. Let's see. Medium. Okay, let's check that out. Here's Tom 2 bottom. What is that? Let's listen to that again. Huh. So I don't know if they mic the top and a bottom mic. I mean, okay, we can deal with that later. Let's just call this this is Tom 201. They have Tom 1, Tom 2, Tom 1 bottom. Okay, so this is Tom 2. I'm just going to call this Tom 2 top, I guess. Tom 2 top for now. And then we have Tom 2 bottom. And I don't know that we'll use all those mics, but we'll take a look. Okay, we have Tom 1 and Tom 1 bottom. Top. And Tom 1 bottom. Okay. We have a ride. Cool. Overhead left, overhead right. Could probably shrink these up a little bit. Let's go back to small. Okay. Overhead left. And then you can put comments in there as well if you want. That's just helpful. Hi-hat dynamic 1. So, okay, those are hats, right? Let's just see. Wow. Sounds like a snare mic, but hi-hats. Cool. Let's go to room. Oh, room left. Room right. Should have put the numbers in, shouldn't I? I started to and then I stopped. Did I put the numbers in? I did. All 4. I didn't do this. I could double click on this. Yeah, I could do this. 05. And there's probably a faster way to do this, I'm sure. But again, seeing as I've never really used it before. '09 ride. 10 overhead. Left. Overhead right. Track 12. Room left, room right. Okay, so we got 13, 14. Everybody still with me? You guys having fun yet? What is prums? Is that percussion? I don't know. Let's find out. No idea what that is. Don't know. We're going to leave it. I don't know what prums means. It sounds like a snare mic. We'll leave it as track 15. We'll keep it prums for now. I don't know what the hell that means. I don't even know if we're going to use it. We'll end up eliminating some of these tracks. I'm certain of it. Let's see. We have a crash. Okay. It sounds like we have crash samples in here. Okay. So we have track 16. Crash. Track 17. We have a splash cymbal. Spell that right? Yeah, I think so. Okay. What do we got? Track 18, we have a tambourine. Track 19, we got a shaker. Track 20, we have a cowbell. Gotta have a cowbell, right? All right, now we're out of drums. Then we have a bass DI, bass cabinet. Okay, so we'll do 21. And then 22. We have a guitar DI. Interesting. Oh, we have a lot of guitar DIs here. Huh. We got guitar 1 DI, guitar 1 DI again, guitar 1 DI a third time. Are these really DI tracks? Can that mean we can use some of the Universal Audio Marshall and Friedman plugins at one point? All right. So we got Guitar 1 DI. Oh no, this is Guitar 1. This is not a DI. Let's see what this one is. Okay, so we're going to keep the DI though, because at one point, this is what, track 23, because at one point we'll use some of the Universal Audio guitar plugins because I have them all and I don't use them very much. This will be good. So 24, Guitar 1. And then we have another Guitar 1. Must be maybe a different mic, maybe? Okay, so it sounds like it's the same thing. It's probably Guitar 1 double. So we'll use that as 25. Guitar 1 double. Okay. Guitar 2 DI. Let's get a track, 26. And then we have Guitar 2 regular. You can tell just by the audio form that that's an amp of some kind. So we'll do 27, Guitar 2. And then we have Guitar 2 DI harmonics. I don't know, let's see what that is. Oh, okay, so just like Pro Tools, you have like the Smart Tool. So as I move my cursor over a region or the event, it changes, just like Studio One too, but interesting. Okay, let's see what this is. That's interesting. Let's see what this one is. Oh my goodness, that's loud. Hot, hot, hot. All right, so we're going to call this Guitar 2 DI harmony. This is going to be 28. Oh. Harm, okay. And then Guitar 2 29, Guitar 2 harm. Okay. Guitar 2 back harmonies. Interesting. Okay. So we'll do this 30, Guitar 2 back harm. Okay. Guitar 2 DI harmony. Okay. My Lord, you got a lot of guitar tracks here. Oh, you know why? Because some of them are at the different parts of the song. Okay, Guitar 2 DI harm. I think I already got that though. Okay, what we can do is just change the track number to 31. Leave the name the way it is for now. $32. Oops. I'm not sure how many tracks are in this thing. Guitar 2 back harmonies. Again, I'll rename these later when we get to guitars, which won't be for a couple of weeks at least. Okay, we have keys left, keys right, keys 2 left and right, keys 1 left and right. Okay, so this will be 33. Keys 2 left. Get rid of the 01. Okay, keys 2. So this will be 34. Okay, and then we have keys 1. Everybody still with me? 35. $36. Keys 1's right. All right, we're getting down to vocals here. Wow, this is a bigger session than I thought it would be. Vocals comp, Echoplex. Oh, we have effects in here too, huh? Interesting. Okay. Let's see. What else we got for background vocals? What else do we have here? My Lord, we got a lot of tracks. A lot of background. Oh, yeah, because in the end here, you get all these choirs and whatnot. All right. That's cool. Where are we? Is this the lead vocal? I would assume. Solo that up.
I've got me a woman who treats me right.
That's him. Okay, so this is 37. Lead vocal, and it's comped already. Echoplex, let's check that out. What is that? Is that just the effect?
I've got me a woman who treats me right.
Yeah, we could use it. Lead vocal Echoplex, and we'll leave it for now. Maybe we'll keep it. Maybe we'll go. Okay, so now I got background vocals 1A, 1B, 1C, 1D. Okay, so we had A, B, C, and D. So I could just call this background vocal. Well, let me just call this, what are we, 39? We're at 39, right? So let me, 39. I'm going to call this background vocals A. Should be able to copy this, right? Yep. B, this will be track 40. Track 41. 41, background vocal C. And then we have track 42. D. All right, and then we got Steve vocals, 1, dupe 1, dupe 2, dupe 3. Okay, so we're just going to call this background vocal 2. We can just go background vocal 2, background vocal 3, background vocal 4. We don't need to have the name. So we're going to go 43, background vocal 2, and then I'll copy this. Just for simplicity, we'll know what it is. 44. Oh, no. Oh, come on. Background vocal 3. Background vocal 4. 45. Okay, Steve, and then we could do another one here. This will be background vocal 6, 46. All right, now we have other vocals here, other vocal parts. Chris vocal, 1, 2. So we could just call this, we could just call this 7, background vocal 7, 8, 9, 10, right? Yeah, we could do all of that. It's all gonna, yeah, okay. So background vocal, so we're gonna call this background vocal 7, track 47. And I probably could have named this in a little bit better fashion, but again, I'm just playing around. I'm not, oops, it doesn't really matter. 49. Background vocal 10 will be 50. $51. We're getting there. We're almost done. What do I do? 11, 12, track 52. This is a big session, man. A big session. Let's see. $53. Background vocal 13. Last one. Then we'll color code everything. 14. So we have 54 tracks in this thing. Okay. Well, that's a good size session. All right. So now that we got that, we can color code, right? Let's go back to the mixer. Let's make sure all our drums are all together here. We'll go from here, hold down Shift, all the way over to our crash cymbal, maybe, and probably a little bit beyond that, right? We'll do the tambourine as well. Splash, tambo, shaker, cowbell. And if we hit that, our little color wheel comes up. Good enough. All right, let's do bass. Is always going to be blue for me. Well, that's purple. Good enough. Guitars, we'll do like a green color. Got a lot of guitar tracks here. Green. Good. Keyboards. Oh, I don't know. Purple. Lead vocal, we'll do yellow, but we'll do kind of a one shade of yellow, and then that one as well, because it sounds like that's the Echoplex that's on with it. And then all these background vocals, which again, we can mess around with much later. We'll do a different shade of yellow. So we're yellow and orange, I guess. All right, so now we're all color coded. And if I go back here, okay, color codes all the events here. Okay, cool. All right. So now that we've done that, we need to, in the way you just hit done. Okay, so the layout of this is very similar to Studio One or Pro Tools. You have your track menu here. You have your grouping section down here in the left. That's pretty standard stuff, right? Up next to that, we have our input section where you actually get a view of the actual channel from the mixer. So if I click on track one here, you'll see down here in the bottom, the fader is 01, right? And if I go to say overhead, it switches to that. So instead of flipping back and forth, if you don't want to go back and forth between the mixer and this window, you have the channel strip for the input section right here in front of you with all the inserts and whatnot here. That's pretty helpful. I like that. I don't know how I would use that. I don't know what my workflow is going to end up being like, but that's pretty handy. Whereas on Pro Tools, you have to switch back and forth between the mixer. You can always detach the mixer and put it on another monitor, but I don't have two screens, but that's pretty helpful. And then up top here, we have our loop and our bars and beats and our marker tracks and all of that. That's really cool. Our timeline, pretty standard stuff. And then up here, our transport, we have the way we can view. Let's see, set to timeline display. Oh, okay, set to the mixer display. And then here you can check, okay, that's kind of cool. All right, so you can flip back and forth with these two buttons between mixer and timeline, or you just do command equals. It's so much easier. Hope everybody's with me. Everyone cool, I hope. Let's see, and then we got our beats per minute, our metronome, our display counter. Over here, we have some global settings, solo and mutes and all of that. That's cool. We have our monitors section here, which if you look on the right-hand side, you can see my voice coming in on the meters. Here's the monitor, which is actually the monitor dial on the level dial, the output dial on the actual Universal Audio Apollo. You could change it on the right here, or you can physically come out to the interface like I'm doing right now, and you'll see it's turning down the audio. Gotta be careful because all the video recording software and everything's going through that. So we can set that here, and then we have our workflow here where we can toggle between the record windows, the MIDI windows. Let's see what that does. Okay, so we can see when we click on this little workflow, we get a little menu that pops down here for the recording. For MIDI, if you're working with MIDI, you have some of the MIDI functions. Pardon me, this is the edit flow. Okay, so you could duplicate, copy, paste a lot of those things, much like maybe the macro toolbar in Studio One. Again, I don't know if you could create your own buttons. Oh, it looks like you can edit here. Oh, maybe you can. Interesting. What does that do? Oh no, that just switches on this left-hand side. That's the same switching of the views as clicking on these buttons. And then you can go to mix flow, which this is my screen here in front of me. So that's kind of cool. And then on the right-hand side, you just have your control room. So again, it's clean. It's clean. But what we said was this is really hot. So I know we got to do clip gain on all of this. So the way you do clip gain on this is you come down, you select the event, and I think, do I have to make the tracks bigger? I think I do. I think I have to make it to medium. And you'll see up top here where when you go to medium size track view or more, you'll see that you get the name of the track here. Oh, and I also noticed too that the name doesn't change. I'll bet you the name changes if you do this. Let's see. Do you have to hold down shift and do it? No? Usually when you change the name here, it'll change the name here. There must be a way to do that. There must be a hotkey for that. In Studio One, it's you hold the shift key. Anyway, right next to that, you see a little fader. This is our clip gain. To turn down the clip gain because these things are hot. And then you also can change the pitch, which is kind of cool. So like on this, I already know, and we can go through every track. We may as well solo it up and just go through every track and just clip gain it a little bit because everything is way too hot. Yeah, you can see we're coming in at -3. So we're going to turn this down. Probably 8 dB. Maybe not that much. Maybe 7 dB for now. And then again, if you want to zoom in on the, wow. So you can see you have a little audio meter here next to the event or the region, which is cool. But I like having this fader down here because you can actually see on our meter where we're looking at here. Cool, right? All right, so we know everything's got to come down. Yeah, everything's going to come down here. 6-7 dB. Now here's something interesting I want to try. 1 second. Let me get this down here. Because if everything is hot, right, we could probably, I'll bet you, if I highlight, shift, highlight, shift, highlight, shift, can I change clip gain on all of them? Yes, you can. How about that? Okay, so did you see what I did there? I'm going to turn them all down about 6-7 dB, and then we can adjust later. Again, I'm not looking for perfection here. I'm just looking for getting things, you know, just playing around and learning. So you can highlight the events or the regions by holding shift and selecting with your mouse, and then you can clip gain everything in a group. So you don't have to do them one at a time. So if we know all the drums are a little hot, we can do this kind of a thing. And then you can go back and change into each individual track, which is probably what you would do anyway. But in the spirit of learning how to use Luna, we're going to do it this way. And I'm sure there's even a faster way to do it. But let's do all the drums like this. We'll turn them all down 7 dB. And then we'll create some buses and we'll do all that stuff as well. Cool. We got some crash cymbals and all of that. The splash cymbal doesn't look like it needs to be turned down much, just based on what I can see by looking at the wave, the audio wave, but we'll turn these down. We'll leave the splash alone. The tambo's probably not going to be bad. We'll turn it down a few dB because we're in percussion land now. Shaker is going to look okay. Probably cowbell. Oh, we'll leave the cowbell loud because you got to leave the cowbell loud, right? You can't not leave it loud. Let's see what we got for bass here. And if we just do this, yeah, everything is going to be super hot. All right, so let's turn down those. Okay, we know guitars are going to be, well, the DIs are probably going to be okay. Well, let's see what these guitars are like, but my guess is these are going to be hot too. Actually, the guitars are not bad. We're running around -12, good enough. DIs we'll leave alone, but this guitar too is screaming loud. You could just tell by looking at it, but let's see if I'm right. Oh, yes, sir. Okay, so let's turn that down a bunch. For now, the other tracks, guitar harmony tracks, yeah, I'm sure we're gonna have to turn those down, but let's listen. Oh my Lord, that's way loud. Sorry guys. Did I blow you out on that one? All right, we'll turn that way down. And then we'll turn these down as well. A little bit. We could always adjust later. Poor example of proper gain staging, but hey, let's go ahead. Let's check our keyboards and just see how hot those are. Keys left. Way too hot. Okay, let's Turn those down. All right, keyboard's left. That probably looks okay. Let's check. Yeah, they're just all hot. Lead vocal. Let's see what we got with vocals. Let's see. How did they record the vocals? Do you think they recorded them way hot?
I've got me a woman.
They sure did. Okay. All right, so let's do this. Background vocals. I know those background vocals are loud. Let's do the first group. And how should you be doing this really? You go watch my gain staging videos. You should be listening every track, looking at the meters and all of that. We're not really doing this proper. I'm just trying to, like I said, just trying to find my way around the program a little bit. We're going to do things a little unorthodox in what I would normally do and even how I normally teach. But when you're trying to learn something new, this is for everyone. If you're trying to learn a new DAW or a new plugin or whatever, the way you learn is exactly what we're doing here. You get in here and you just start twisting things and turning things and you know, take a test session, a project that's not real important to you, and just get in there and just get your hands dirty, and you'll learn what works and doesn't work, and you'll learn the shortcuts and all of that nonsense. All right, so now that we're turned down here, let's see. I'm going to turn down the main. Let's see where we are here. I'll turn it way down so we don't blow anybody up. And let's just see where we end up with everything at unity. Oh, did I have to, take the solo off. That would help, right? All right, let's try that again. I'll go through and fine tune it as we're going with the gain staging. All right, so those background vocals still have to come down together. So we'll do that first. So I took them down 5 dB. That's not enough. So I'm going to take it down like 7, 8 dB. Let's see if that's any better. Even those woo woo woos are too loud. You can hear it. They're going to be way hot. Let's try that again. Better. hot cowbell there. Turn down that cowbell a little bit. Don't worry, we'll make it the loudest thing in the mix when we go to mix the song. We'll make the cowbell the loudest for sure. All right, let's see where we are now. Let me, let's go back to the beginning here. Let's see where we are on our master fader. And then we're gonna make some buses, route things. So we're still coming in hot. Hopefully the audio is not blowing you guys out. I'm trying to be careful with OBS. That's why I'm messing with the master fader, which we wouldn't typically do. But I have to be conscious of the video here. So we know these choruses again. Okay, so what we're going to do now, let me, let's zoom in here on these audio. What is the frickin', it's command. Yeah, it's option, command, brackets. Want to zoom in a little bit, right? Because when you're doing the clip gain, remember now, for people who don't know, that might be new, we're not turning up this is not clip gain what I'm doing here. This is just zooming in on the audio waveform. The clip gain stays the same, okay? Make sure you realize that. Some people don't know that. Some people think I'm turning up the volume there by doing that's not what we're doing. That's just zooming in so we can see the audio waveforms better. But you'll see that we're still clip gain down. All right, so let's do, let's assign some buses. Let's do some routing here. Let's try that. All right, so the other thing too is in the mixer view here. So again, we have the same thing going on here on the track listing here. And then what we have over above here, which is kind of cool, these little buttons allows you to expand or collapse the view of what you want to see in your console. Okay. So like here's our input section that will shrink the inputs up top here where you can use these little drop down arrows. You have utility here. You can do it here as well. Okay. You can expand these are for plugins here. You can expand or make that shrink down however you want to do it. You have tape here as well, where you'll have, the tape extensions, which we'll talk about. And the newest release is the one thing that just came out is the console section. And this is pretty cool, which we're going to get into. We're going to use this for sure. Where what Universal Audio is trying to do here is they're trying to make it so when you look at your mixer, you're looking at like you would be looking down in the analog console and looking at a channel strip. Traditionally, you would have your insert section, which we have here as well, where you'd be able to put, your plugins. Say you wanted to put console emulation, channel strip, compressor, EQ, whatever, and you'd put your separate plugin windows, and then you would click on the plugin window and it would open up on the screen and you'd make your adjustments. Really cool. What they're doing here is they're doing a thing where it's all in one strip here. It's all in view all the time. And I'm going to show you that. And then below that, we have our sends here. We have sends and returns. We have our cues for headphones, which we don't need because we're not using that. We can check our outputs here. So this reminds me of the way Cubase is kind of set up too, in a way. Where you could kind of do this. I kind of like this. You can customize it the way you want because there is a lot of stuff on the screen, or there can be a lot of stuff on the screen. So you can do that with these little arrows, or you can click these little buttons here. The other thing you can do here is you can make, I think these sections larger. Oops. Yeah, or smaller icons to save yourself real estate if you want. I'm not sure what fixed slots do. And then you have these modifiers, which is turning plugins on and off, removing, copying and pasting plugins and all of that stuff, which we'll do. But first thing I want to do is I want to do some buses. So what we're going to do is we're going to make a drum bus here. So we're going to come, I should probably make my percussions a different, right? Because we have 3 percussion tracks. Make our percussions. Now we're going to make it all part of the drum bus. Let's keep it simple for now. Let's see, how do we create buses? So we'll do this, hold shift. And then I believe the way to do this is we're going to come up to the track listing here. We're going to click our plus here, and we can either make it we can either add audio track, instrument track, or a bus. We're going to make it a bus. Now, again, what's unique to Universal Audio here is obviously we have the type of bus, how many buses. We want to make it stereo. We're going to call this drum bus. And then we have the summing extension, which is unique to Universal Audio, where they have on the buses the summing of, now they have a Neve or an API. This was another one of those things that I said in my first original video, where it's not free. Like Luna's for free, but the summing extensions, and at that time it was just the Neve summing plugin, was like a $300 plugin, which I thought was pretty steep. And I said that in the video. One of the things I was a little irritated about, even though they're giving you a free DAW, which is, $300 to $500. You go buy any other DAW, the professional version, the full featured version is going to be at least $300, depending on which one you buy. So maybe their thinking is we're giving you a free DAW, but we're not going to give you the free plugin. Anyhow, I ended up getting the Neve plugin at half price because they were running a sale and whatnot. And then the API summing plugin, I got at half price as well. So I have both. We're going to use API because I want to use the new API console. So if I put API here, and then I could also put on the console now, well, right now we'll put the API 2500 and I'll show you what that is. So I'm going to put the API 2500 compressor, which is part of the new console extension, on here too, because we'll end up doing an API mix. I hit OK. And we should get a drum bus right here in green. And I guess I can change that, right? I could change that to anything I want. Maybe I'll make them red. And then I should be able to drag them. Now, all of my drums should be going to that. If I look at the outputs of my drums. Oh, no, it's not. Is it? Oh, it's not. I just created a bus. No, I have to assign it. I'm sure there was a shortcut for that too. I'm just not thinking. So if I highlight everything and come up to my mains, click my main output, and if I come over to my left-hand side, I'm going to go to my bus that I just created, drum bus, and it should change all of them, and yes, it does. So now that everything is going to the drum bus is stereo, and you'll see on the bus, it automatically drops the API summing plugin, or they call it the extension, and then they also drop the API 2500 bus compressor, because I told it to do so. And we're going to do that, and we'll just leave that for now. So if I solo up our drums here, let me get a loop happening here a little bit. Or, no, first let's go back. Let's create the rest of our buses first before we do that. So let's go, and I'm probably going to move my buses down to the left, down to the right, which is what I typically do. So I'm going to create a bus here as well. If I right click, can I create a bus this way? Just curious. Create group. I can group them this way. Nope. Whoops. And if I come over to, okay, so that's base. If I come over to track, bus, I'm going to call this base bus. We'll use API summing. And are we going to use, now here's the thing. So you don't have to use a compressor on all the buses if you don't want to. They only have, right now, the API as part of the console package. My guess is they're going to do an SSL and a Neve one too. But for now, we won't put a compressor on the base bus. We can add another compressor later. Let's do that. And then if I go to here, and if I just base bus, okay. And I'm going to change my bus color. And again, I know there's faster ways to do this. Trust me. Okay. So now let's go to our guitars. So let's create, I'm surprised, and there must be a way. Does anybody know if I get all the guitar tracks together, how do I assign these all to a bus while creating the bus? Can I do that? Does anybody know? Let me see. I don't know if you can do that. I have to create the bus, but it won't automatically assign it, does it? Bus type, guitar bus, API summing, sure. No compressor for now. No, it doesn't. So I have to go to the main, go to the bus. Oh, I didn't have them all selected. My bad. Sorry about that. Did I do that right? Oops. Yeah, I think I did. I got them all. Go all to the guitar bus. Okay, they're all going to the guitar bus now. Right on. And we're going to change the guitar bus color to this red. Okay. Keyboards. Okay, so if I highlight the track, it's going to put it right next to it, isn't it? So if I highlight the track, and if I go to this and go bus, and then do keys bus, API summing no compressor, it's going to put it right next to it. Okay, that makes sense. Keys. Right on. Everybody having fun? Just select all you want and press Control-Shift-B. Oh yeah, that would be a bus, would it not? Right, you're right, it would be. Okay, let's try that. You're right. We're gonna do the lead vocals together. So if I do, yeah, Control-Shift-B. Do I have to close this first? Nope. Did I do that wrong? It's not Control. It's Option, I'll bet you. Nope. Command-Shift? Command-Shift-B. That's what it is, boys and girls. Command-Shift-B, create a bus. All right, what am I on? Lead vocal bus. Stereo output. Oh, route from selected. Okay. Route from selected. What does that mean? No, that's a send. Okay, we don't want to do that. Neve summing? Sure. Okay, but it doesn't give you the option here of putting on the compressor like it does when you do it from the tracks menu. So that's a little interesting. All right, whatever. Where's our bus? There it is. All right. And but it did change the output already because we did Command-Shift-B, so it automatically changed the output. All right, cool. All right. All right. We'll just do one huge background vocal bus for now. We'll probably split these up later into different parts because there's all different parts, but just to keep this simple. So it's Command-Shift-B. Selected output, we're going to call this background vocal bus for now. We'll use the Neve summing extension because we can. And it does change all the outputs of all those tracks. That's good to know. And then if I change the color of this, right on. Now, and here's our main. So now if I want to move my buses down to the right, which is what I typically do, it's not that I have to do it that way. Okay, just left click and drag. All right. Oh, they didn't want to do that. That doesn't matter. I can reset it in a minute. Come on now. Come on now. Keyboards. Boop, doop, boop, boop, boop. Oh, there we go. Again, probably not the fastest way to do this, but it's all right. It's all right. Everything's going to be fine, everyone. All right, here we go. Good. All right, so now if I want to make sure that it's a command? No, it's option. Option? That's interesting. Yeah, it's option, not command. What am I talking about? All right, option. So this is weird. So you look at the drum bus and look at the just look at the position of the faders. It's almost like the resolution is different, right? Oh, isn't that interesting? Look at the fader here. I wonder why that is. So you see that? You see where this is at 0 and this is at 0, but the scale is different for some reason on these 4 buses versus the last 2. Why would that be? I'll bet you, is it because did I create the last 2 buses in a different way? That's interesting. I know someone's probably yelling at me going, "Ah, you should know this. Never used this before. Relax." But do you see that? You see the last 2 buses that we created where we did Command-Shift-B? And look at the faders. Just look at the resolution and the scale of it. So the fader, the physical fader position is all at unity on the ones that I created before it. But on these, it looks different. The scaling is even different. That's really weird. Why is that? There must be a reason for it. I don't know why. And I'm going to test that theory. What if I delete this drum? What if I delete this keyboard bus? Delete. Okay. Now, what if I put guitars, keyboard? So if I do, well, we highlighted the keyboards, right? Let me just try something here. Highlighted the Command Shift B. This is keys bus. Neve summing. Look at that. It does look different, doesn't it? It does. That's weird. And there must be a reason for that. I don't know what it is. So we created the buses one way. You can even see the keyboard track has changed. Look at the scale of this fader here. This track, keyboard 2 left, and then look at the guitar tracks beneath it. See how isn't that weird? Am I crazy? Or is that right? It's okay. They got to look the same with my ADD. Are you kidding? Where the hell's my keyboard bus? Where did it go? Come on now. Come on now. Oh, that's really weird. Yeah. See, I can't have them different like that. That would drive me insane. It's stupid, I know. It's dumb, I know. But we're going to fix that. So that's weird. So when you create the bus the way I originally did in the tracks menu, and I create a bus, here's something else that's interesting too. Just so you know, when you look at the tracks menu, you have you know which ones are audios by the little icons, and the buses are the little arrows, the little icons here. So they're all the same icons, but when you create it one way, the track looks different. The fader looks different in another way. So we're going to get rid of those first three because I can't have that. I can't have that. You got to be kidding me. So we're going to start with the drums again. I like the Command Shift B. I like that. Drum bus. Output Neve summing. Oh, and yeah, okay, right. And also here too, what you can't do is you can't add the AP2500 like you could when you created it over here, where maybe the option to put the compressor, you can't do it here. So that's interesting. So you can create a bus two separate ways, but you have a different, let's just see let me just see. Change that to red. Let me just see. Yeah, you have the sum. Oh, I picked Neve. I should have picked API. I can change that though. Okay. Oh, wait a minute. Do that again. Hold on a minute, everybody. Oh, look at that. So look what happens with the fader when I change it from Neve to API. Look at that. Look at that. Now I know why, because some of these tracks did I choose the wrong summing by mistake? I did. Okay, I figured it out, guys. So I should have chose API. I have Neve on the brain. When you look at the Neve, if I change look at the fader, and that must be just because maybe the scale is true to the console. Maybe that's what they did. Neve and API are different. If I change this back to API, now the faders get smaller. See that? Look at that. Interesting. See, this is how you learn stuff, man. This is why you do this stuff. And it'll change all the tracks that are associated with it. So when I change on the bus, because all these drums are routed to the bus, if I go back to Neve, not only does the bus change, but then all the faders to the drums change as well, because the drums are routed there, right? Interesting. That's why. Well, then there you go, right? So it has nothing to do with the way you create the bus, right? The only difference is when you do Command Shift B, you don't have the option of putting on the API 2500 compressor. which is no big deal because we can add it after, but just so you know, it's not Neve summing we want, it's API summing. Right, and now the faders change and that changes. Well, there you go. See, I figured it out. Some of you guys may have already have known that. I didn't know that. So let's take this and let's move this down, and then we'll have to do our guitars. Seems a little wonky the way that moves, but hey, whatever. Whatever. Drum bass. The only thing we need now is guitars, and then we're all set. Okay, so highlight this, Command Shift B, guitar bus, API summing, because that's what we're doing. And there we go. And we'll change that to red. And then we'll slide this down. I'll double check all the outputs to make sure everything is, well, I guess I can just do it like this, right? There we go. So there's all our buses. Now on our main, we don't have any summing yet. We're going to put the API summing on the main bus as well. So just so you know, the summing extensions are only on buses. It's not on individual tracks. You can't put it on individual tracks. Okay. All right. So that's right on. Right on. Now let's just check all of our outputs here to make sure everything is assigned properly. So all the drums are, yes. Basses are, guitars, yes. Keyboards, nothing's going. Lead vocals, background vocals. That looks good. Everybody still with me? Wow, we still got 40 people here. I didn't think you guys would find this interesting at all. All right. So anyway, okay, so we got color coding, we got routing, we got buses. We did some, you know, we did a hack job with our gain staging, but we did some, right? Okay, let me show you, and then because we've been doing this an hour now, then I'll take some questions. We'll do chat. But let me just, next week we'll pick it up from here. I just wanted to kind of set it up, but let me show you the console, the whole thing that's new from Universal Audio that if you've been following it on YouTube, you know about it. If you haven't, you haven't. So in this console section, which is a new section as I talked about earlier, if I click this, right now there's only the API vision, right? And my guess is there's going to be Neve and SSL and others in the future. But if I click on this, watch what happens. Okay, so what they've tried to do here, and let me close this for a second. So what they've done is they've put, like, I remember I told you, like, we're on our kick-in track here, okay? They put an entire channel strip like you'd be looking down at a console. Here's the dynamics. If I click over, here's the input where we have the preamp, the pads, the phase flip, the low cut, high pass and low pass filters. We have a dynamic section here with gates and EQs, just like on a channel strip. And then we have an EQs here as well. And we have two different types of EQ. We have the 550L and we have the 560L. You can use either one. Okay, and you can make it pre or post dynamics. And what the thinking is, and we can shrink this down a little bit like this. What the thinking is that you have these loaded across all your, which we're going to do here in a second. And then you don't have to open up plugin windows. You have everything you need from your preamp to your dynamics and your EQ, just like you would if you were looking down at a real console. That's kind of the feel. It gives you that kind of inline vibe, right? The only thing I don't like about it, and I had to switch the resolution on my iMac screen so that things looked a little bit bigger, is everything looks small this way. Now, what you can do is you can open it up and make a side view here so you can see the whole thing in front of you. So if you don't want to switch between input dynamic EQ, you can see it all on here as part of the channel strip. Does that make sense to you? And then you could do it that way if you want to see things a little bit bigger. Now, there's no way to expand this anymore. At least there isn't, to my knowledge. You can't make it like blow up and get bigger, which is I mean, I could see this okay, and I'm sitting pretty close to my monitor, but just realize there's a lot of little, it's not like one of these things where you can resize it, at least not to my knowledge or not yet. And then you can close this if you want to save some real estate. So now what you can do as well, once you have one, and if you want to copy this, I believe you just hit copy the modifier here. See, it's flashing, and then you see this little green dot. And if I just drag it across all of my tracks, all I'm doing with my mouse is left click and scrolling. I'm just dragging it across all of my tracks. See that? And if it's mono or stereo, it knows. And if I let go of the left mouse button, I can hit paste. And now it puts them all there, right? Pretty cool. And if I want to copy again, I just hit copy and I could just click the green arrow and just drag across all of them. I'm just scrolling over with my mouse here and it drops them all here. And if I run out of and I think you have to move kind of quick because I think it's, nope. Yeah, okay. Yeah, you can still keep dragging. I think it kind of times out, like it'll only do this for a certain amount of time. So I just swiped. Takes a second to load here. And again, I don't know if some of the hesitation could be, again, we're running OBS, we're live streaming at the same time. I do have an iMac Pro, pretty high spec computer, but we are using a lot of other resources that, right now as well. So that's something to keep in mind. Don't know if that matters, but let's just keep swiping. We're putting a lot of these suckers on, right? What do we have, 50 tracks? This was actually a good session to pick because we get to see. Come on, there it goes. And you could do the same thing on your buses, I believe, right? You could put it on your bus, can't you? Or no, maybe you can't. Paste. Okay, so okay. So on the buses, part of this API Vision console extension, which is I think what they're calling it. I think that's what they're calling it. The tracks get the channel strip, right? The inputs, the dynamics, the EQs. The buses, just like only gets the summing, you can put the API 2500 compressor because that's part of the bundle. So you could put that on every one of our buses if we wanted to. We said we put it on our drum bus and you can see it blows up as a big window here, or we can close it and we have all the controls right here. And we could put that on our master bus if we want. Okay, and we can close that as well. Now you could put you could put anything there. You can put anything you want. Under the console section, you only have a choice right now of API because that's the console extension, that's their first thing, the API. But let's say on the bass bus, you didn't want to use an API. Let's say you wanted to use something different. Well, that's where you would go under your inserts down here. And you can go and you can pick any plugin, right? So let's say third party or otherwise, but just to stick with Universal Audio, say I wanted to put SSL here. I could put a channel strip. I could put anything here. If I wanted to put the, and you can see when you search, it also searches SSL. It searches all the different plugins, So I have, Plugin Alliance, the SSL Native, Waves, Universal Audio is always going to be at the top of the list. But if I go G-Series bus compressor, now you'll see that this will pop up, and that is an insert on my bass bus, right? Now that looks nice. That looks nice and big. See that again, I don't know how it comes across on YouTube, but that's a really nice plugin window size-wise, whereas the API console thing is a little bit small, but this is very easy to work on, very easy to see. No worries with this whatsoever as far as clarity, being able to see. So you can do that. And then if you wanted to expand this like this, you can see the little icons here. So you can see it. And if you want to expand it, you just hit this little window and it blows it up, right? Or you can hit the three little dots and you can remove it, copy, paste, whatever you want to do. For now, we'll just remove it and you can see that it goes away. Okay. So that's how that kind of works here. Now, the other thing that I will tell you, again, part of what I've heard, and I'm pretty clear on this, but, again, I'm learning this stuff as I go too. So don't hold me to every last detail here. But the way I understand it as this console extension is really running on the DSP and, on the CPU in the computer and not the DSP in the Universal Audio system. The way we're going to check that is if I open up what is this? Oh, don't tell me I need an update right now. I don't want to, oh no. Oh, I hope we don't crash here, guys. My audio interface is doing this is my Apollo. I probably didn't update the firmware when I updated this new version of Luna. Sorry about that. So if we crash here, I apologize. I hope we won't. Hope the sound doesn't go all kaplooey. But anyway, once this little box goes away, hopefully this will just work. Hopefully this will just work. Yeah, we won't have any issues. Come on now. It's probably gonna shut the whole damn. Next firmware, your device, click load, cancel. Phenomenal. Okay. Yeah. I hope you guys can still hear me okay. Just let me know if you can in the chat, would you? Anyway, so they're right. Oh man, they're right about that. I'm looking at my DSP meter and I see I'm only running 6%. That 6% is really the plugins that I'm using on my voiceover mic in the console app. So I am correct in saying that these console extensions, the API summing, as well as all this API vision stuff right now is running on the CPU in your computer. So it's running natively. And the way I've heard Universal Audio explain that was because that gives you the ability to save resources for your DSP for all your other Universal Audio plugins that you may want to use as inserts and sends and those kinds of things. And it's nothing that you have to set up. It just kind of does it all in the background. So what does that mean? Well, I guess that means, let's see what what that really just means is that, you got to be aware that your CPU and what you're using, it's running like a native plugin would run. Hope that makes sense. So that's kind of cool. So that's kind of the layout. So what we'll end up doing as we work through this mix over the next several weeks is I want to work with this API. I just want to work with it. Now, the other thing I think you can do here too, like you see, again, you have, let's say you want to look at all the preamps and you don't want to switch them one by one. There's a shortcut for that. I saw it. How the hell do you do it? Oh, damn it. I know there is a way where I think you can, it'll switch all of them. So you can look at, say, all your preamps, all your EQs, all your compressors. How does that work? I saw it and I don't remember how. Did you have to highlight the tracks and do it? Let's see. What do you do it like that? And then if you switch it, no. Oh yeah. Okay. I see. So if you highlight like, let's say if you take all your drum tracks and if I switch it on one, it'll switch the view on all of them. That's kind of cool. So let's say you're going through your tracks and you want to set all your preamps and your high pass filters first. That's kind of cool. And if you want to go to your compressors, you can do that. And then you can do that. And if you set up groups like you would in Pro Tools, you can group them and then they'll all work as a group as well. That's another thing to do. But if you didn't want to do that and you wanted it all to be, separated so you can go through one at a time, you would just, whatever track you're working on, you would just click it like that. And that's how that would work. So that is the new API, Vision console. So again, when you're, it's like, gives you more of a feel like you're working on an analog desk like this, which is kind of neat. So far so good. Nothing crashed. That's how we're going to set this up. And then what we'll do in the next live stream, because we've been doing this about an hour and a half, we'll start going through each track. We'll start playing with this stuff and we're just going to start working with this API stuff as well as some other plugins. I'm going to use other plugins as well as we move through, but I'll be interested to check out how this all kind of works and how the summing works and how the summing sounds here as well. And we'll get a chance to play with it. So I hope you found that somewhat interesting. And we'll go back to the chat and we'll chat for a bit if you guys want to. So let me go back to the chat and we'll do that. So that's the first look. It's setting up, Universal Audio Luna with a session. Went pretty straightforward. I didn't have to, fumble around too much. I'm glad that we saw the way that the faders actually changed the scale depending on whether you're using an API or an Eve. That's interesting. That would have bugged me if I couldn't figure that out. So anyway, what do we got? 36 people here. Wow. Cool. So if you guys have any questions, I'd be glad to try to answer. I don't know if you guys were asking questions before. I wasn't even looking at the chat. So I apologize. So let's see. If you ask, I'll be glad to Oh, now Dave's saying check OBS to blah, 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 blah. Oh, sorry, Dave. I didn't see your email. There's a black space there. Oh, that could just be, oh, you know why I'll bet you that is? I'll bet you that's because I had to blow up the resolution so I could see it because it was looking small on my screen. I'll have to make sure I check OBS for that. Hopefully it was okay for you guys to at least view. I was watching it I was watching back some of the stream. I hope it wasn't too distracting. Sorry about that. That's because I had to switch my resolution. That's why. Sorry about that, guys. I'll have to check that out for next time. But hopefully you guys are okay with that. Pardon me. Okay, let's see. Let's see. Any questions at all? Any questions at all? If not, I'll just leave. That's okay. And again, I'll probably get back. We'll probably do this again next week. I won't work on this thing at all. I'd like to work on it live with you guys just because, you know, I can learn it along with you. So if you guys are interested in that, and if, you know, and if not, you don't have to watch it. That's okay too. So let me know. And again, Dave put in the chat again, if you're not aware, the power of parallel compression, that course is on sale for 30% off tonight. It ends at midnight. So get in on it now if you haven't got in on it already, because that will go off sale. That you want to learn about parallel compression, that's the course to get for sure. That is the course. Okay, going once, going twice. Any questions at all? Anything you want to ask? Anything you want to mention? Anything you want me to discuss with you? Let me know. Let me know. Let me know. Okay, Jim says, good live stream. Okay, cool. I'm glad you enjoyed it. Hope you guys enjoyed it. You know, I got to learn this DAW one way or the other. So the way I'm going to learn it is just by doing it. That's the way you learn these things. And figure I would try to learn it with you guys live just because it could be fun. It could be fun. Let's see. Anything else? Good live stream, blah, blah, blah. Okay, well, it doesn't look like you guys have anything you want to chat about, and that's cool. So anyhow, thanks for joining me. I had fun. I hope you guys had fun. Probably next week, you know, we'll get back on it and we'll just continue. I won't do anything with the session. I'll do this the next time we're going to do it. We'll do it again. We can do it again next week. You know, I maybe I'll send out an email and let people know when it's going to be. I didn't do that tonight, but we still got quite a few people that did it, that showed up, which is cool. So maybe next week I'll send out an email, let more people know about it, and we'll just start playing around with it, and we'll start mixing Robert, John, and the Rex. So till next week, I will see you guys soon. Have a wonderful weekend, and I will see you guys later. Thanks, everybody. See ya.